how you react when you learn that something that you've been doing was flawed in some way. So when you learn, for example, that there was a pattern of action or a pathway in life, or a simple thing like, what was the example? There was something recently that I did or that I wasn't doing, that I realized that I wasn't doing, and I thought, right, I should have been doing that. And your reaction to those kind of things it's something worth focusing your attention on, I think. So I was reading Paul's second letter to the Corinthians, and about chapter 9 to chapter, yeah, I think it's chapter 9 to chapter 11, he talks about almsgiving. And this was after Paul's third missionary journey or something, I think. At some point during Paul's missionary journeys, he was traveling throughout Eastern Europe. In those days, the provinces were called Macedonia and Achaia. I think it's modern day Turkey, and I'm not sure. So the letters to the Corinthians, which is obviously the people of the city of Corinth, and he speaks about the donations that the people of Macedonia had made, and he wants the Corinthians to make a similar donation. And I was thinking, so I wrote down, so I have like a note taking Bible, so I have a note space inside of my Bible. I was doing my Bible study yesterday morning, I think it might have been during the day yesterday actually. I was thinking, right, so I haven't been given money to the poor in any meaningful way, and that was something that I realised that I wasn't doing. This is just a small example. So you realise that you haven't been doing it, so you can have two distinct reactions to the discovery that something in the way that you've been acting was misaligned or could have been improved. And one reaction is one that is scared of change, scared of the unknown, scared of the fact that something that you've been doing is wrong. And that revelation is scary because you're going to have to get rid of that something. And it's like a part of you dies. It's like a part of you has to be shipped out. And that's not easy. And a lot of the time you'll react defensively, and when that kind of voice of conscience comes to your mind and it tells you that you've been doing something wrong, you're going to deny that voice has any substance, or that what it is saying has any substance. And it just kind of dawned on me that, like, when I was thinking about this kind of thing, right, that this is how I'm reacting in a defensive and I don't want to change manner. And I could look back at times in the past when I maybe haven't been as reflective and as introspective, where I would have just decided, okay, I'm not going to change anything and I'm just going to leave that because that's too scary. But that was obviously a subconscious process. I wasn't actually thinking that, but it did indeed play out in that fashion. That was what I did. I just decided to neglect and ignore that. But the other reaction that you can have when you discover that something that you've been doing is wrong, your conscience reveals to you that something that you've been doing was flawed in some way, or that you could improve your actions in some way by removing an old habit and implementing a new one. The reaction you should have to that is one of gratitude and great rejoicing, because God has revealed to you by your conscience that you're doing something wrong and that you need to improve. And that is moving from a state of ignorance to a state of understanding and a state of knowledge. And that's an incredible grace that you've been granted, and that is something you should be grateful for. And obviously that's not easy, and it is going to be difficult. It's going to be tough for you to remove that part of you that was acting in that way, that habit or whatever it may be. But if you maintain that attitude of gratitude and of rejoicing, and you understand fully that that is the reaction that you should have, because if your reason and your conscience, if your conscience reveals to you that this is the wrong thing to do and your reason backs that up, if you understand by the light of your reason that this has some truth to it and that this is what you should be doing, then obviously gratitude is the correct response. So that was an idea that I thought has helped me to overcome the inability to change, the inertia that we all experience when we realize that something we've been doing needs to change. So perhaps that will also help you in your life when your conscience reveals something to you that you might not initially find very pleasant. So I think that's going to be it for today. Thank you very much for watching, and God bless you.